Hi, everybody. Welcome to ASIS TV. Chuck Harold of SecurityGuardRadio.com. Jeremy Rowley, DigitSir.com is my next guest. He's going to Black Hat. It's a preview for Black Hat. And this is some very interesting stuff that affects not just you computer geeks, but every single person who uses the internet. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chuck. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, tell us what's going on with Google and Google Chrome 68 and how they're using HTTPS as the new standard.
Sure. So Google just released Chrome 68, which shifts the emphasis from just connecting to a website to connecting to a secure website. Basically, what they've done is change the UI indicator to say not secure for anything that's connecting over HTTPS or HTTP instead of HTTPS. That means when you go to a website that's not having its traffic encrypted and subject to a man-in-the-middle attack where somebody could steal your credit cards or your personal information, you're going to see an error or a warning that says, hey, you better be careful when you're transacting with this website.
Now, I think this is a good idea. I have in the past been getting a little lock with the arrow through it for other warnings, right? But here's what I'm thinking. The average user, just the average guy that wants to watch Netflix, check his bank account or something, aren't they going to get a little confused on this and start thinking they're under attack?
Well, is that a lot of the sites that you would use, like banking and Netflix, these are high value sites. They generally already have HTTPS enabled, but there is definitely some risk of confusion with the not secure indicator in that secure can mean many things, right? And so, but what they're really talking about is that your information that you're transacting with that website is not protected and not encrypted, so that somebody listening in could take that information and use it. I agree, though, that it's a big improvement because it's really warning people about some of the dangers in transacting with sites that don't use encryption to protect their information.
Oh, yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea. Now, what do you guys do at DigitSir that helps make this better?
So DigitSir is primarily focused on digital certificates and issuance of high assurance digital certificates. We validate website information, we validate website owner information, and create digital certificates that enable that encryption. So generally, when you can see the DigitSir Trust logo or you see the DigitSir digital certificates on that site, it means it's being encrypted to the highest level, to the highest standards, and in compliance with all of the browser requirements. So that's how you get rid of that not secure indicator in Chrome.
Now, there's about 1.6 billion total websites across the internet. That's amazing.
Yeah, the web is huge.
Now, although it's huge, I just read not too long ago that, it was 2017 or something, the entire capacity of the internet just reached the capacity of one human brain, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And about 43% of those aren't encrypted still, according to our research. So we've done some web crawling, some analysis on what's out there, and it's about 43% of the sites, of those 1 billion sites, that are going to be impacted by this change. So we're really trying to get the word out there that, look, if you've got a website and you're not using HTTPS, you probably should.
Now, what about onion servers and dark web and all that sort of thing? How is that going to be affected, if at all? I mean, I know there's secret squirrel, but maybe you bumble onto a dark web site by accident. Are you going to get some kind of warning?
If you manage to get to one on your browser, yeah, you would get a warning unless you have a digital certificate. DigitCert, I think, is the only CA that issues digital certificates for onion sites, for sites that are on that dark web. And so if you have an onion domain, or onion name, then you may as well come to DigitCert and get a certificate for that in case somebody does stumble upon your domain with the browser. But generally, those are taken care of by a special Tor browser that doesn't necessarily isn't necessarily Chrome.
Well, it's nice to know that bad guys are going to want to get a certificate just to be safe. I find that kind of ironic.
Yeah, that if you're a bad guy, you'll want a certificate too. But there's vetting processes in place to try to help minimize the chance of a bad guy getting a certificate. Right? We do a verification on the website. We do verification on the business and whether how whether it's legit. And we actually check phishing sites and blacklist checks from various different sources to try to confirm that that site is indeed not a bad guy. So there's a lot that goes on in the background when you get a digital certificate to try to eliminate that, especially for high assurance certificates.
Now, if you're doing 500 million checks now for this 43%, how does that process work? Obviously, it's a lot of automation, but I mean, what are kind of the standards you guys use to say, sorry, pal, no certificate for you?
Well, I mean, the first thing that we do is it depends on the certificate. There's really 3 different certificate types. You have certificates that have organization information, certificates that are highly vetted that get the EV indicator in browsers right now. And then you have the DV certs that are kind of your low assurance certificates intended for websites that aren't conducting financial transactions more. So where you just want encryption, you're not really, if your personal information goes to or if your information that you're sending goes to the wrong place, it's not as big of a deal. So for in all cases, we vet that the entity that's got the certificate owns the domain name so that they're authorized to actually be that website, that they are that registered website. It's not somebody trying to spoof that website. And then for the higher level of assurances, we confirm the identity of the website owner. We check that it's for EV certs. We check, for example, that it's a trademark issue, that they've got this, that they're not trying to impersonate another person's trademark. For OB and other things, we check that they're in existence, that they are in good standing, that they don't appear on Google Safe Browsing or VirusTotal or the anti-phishing group or any one of a dozen other lists that we check to make sure that they're not some bad actor. And so there's a lot of checks that go into it. The number of checks depend on the assurance level of the certificate. But in all cases, we try to do our best to make sure that the person that we are issuing the cert to is both a legitimate website owner and a legitimate company.
What does DigitSir worry about? In the coming security world.
That's a good question. I think that we worry the most that there's just not enough education around digital certificates, or that people don't know how to distinguish the different certificate issuers. There's definitely a lot of certificate issuers out there, and they all have slightly different practices, different security frameworks and things like that. So trying to choose somebody with the limited information there is difficult. And I think the other thing we worry about is that there will be websites that go dark or have a warning because of this, simply because they didn't know. Not to say I don't think this is a good change, it definitely is, but it'd be nice if we could figure out better ways to get the information out there about these changes.
Jeremy Raleigh, DigitSir.com, fascinating conversation. Every time I do a show, I start out, feeling pretty good, and then I decide at the end of the show whether I feel better or worse, right? And Jeremy, you get a Chuck Harold I Feel Better certificate. All right?
Thanks, Chuck.
Because you guys are on the ball, and listen, we need this, and I'm happy there's people like you out there protecting us from the evils of the world. So we look forward to seeing you guys. If any of your people over at Black Hat have them stop by the press room and say hi.
Yeah, we'll be there. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks for coming on Security Guy TV, ASIS TV, Black Hat 2018 preview.